Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here, just bringing a quick video sort of comparing and sort of discussing which one I favor between the original Stephen King's Pet Sematary film from 1989 and the remake of Pet Sematary, which we just got this year. It's actually still playing in theaters, I think. I just sort of want to give my thoughts on both of them, touch on them both, and again, just sort of talk about which one I favor over the other, even though I think the answer is kind of obvious at this point. I mean, both involve the same plot. A family moves to sort of a more remote area, and there's this, of course, road where it's hard to see, trucks coming and such. One thing the remake did better, though, they had a lot more, sort of bushes, and trees and everything, so it's hard to see a big truck coming. Whereas in the original, it's a pretty open, clear road. But yeah, that's one thing about it. Pet Sematary in 1989. My girlfriend just had me watch it a couple weeks ago before we had seen the remake. Pet Sematary being another one of those movies I embarrassingly hadn't seen yet as a horror fan. I liked it a good amount. I picked up the Blu-ray copy. I really like this cover, by the way. Very, very cool. I'll show you the back of it as well. But yeah, I definitely it's probably one of my favorites of Stephen King movies yet. Of course, the new It and everything, but I like this better than the original It miniseries, I think, and I gotta see more of his catalog. But I really liked it. It has a very campy vibe about it, so part of it you don't take fully seriously. But at the same time, it is pretty disturbing in parts, especially near the last quarter of the movie. And it is sort of a tragic tale. What would you do when your loved one was so tragically taken from you like that, and you knew there's this way to maybe bring them back? And you'd think, oh, I would never do that because obviously something would go wrong. But it's hard to say when you actually lose someone like that. So I think that theme was played on very well, especially in the original. The original film you had Dale Midkiff as Lewis, the husband character. Who I thought did a very, pretty good job. Sometimes I think he did overact a little bit, and maybe missed the mark in certain scenes. But I liked him. You had, Fred Gwynne as Judd. And like I said, both these movies have similar plot. Family moves and, into a remote location. They end up befriending this older man who has this knowledge of the area. And of course, this Pet Sematary things are brought back to life. Eventually one of them indulges in it. And you had Denise Crosby, who's been in a lot of genre type of things, actually, from Star Trek. She was in a couple episodes of The Walking Dead before and such. And then you also had Miko Hughes as Gage, the main little boy, the main son here. He's been in a lot of movies as well, from of course obviously Pet Sematary to Wes Craven's New Nightmare. He's touched on a lot of good roles in horror. He was even in Full House for like 13 episodes, so there's that. He was a little over the top with some of his expressions as well, but for a kid actor, he's pretty entertaining and has a decent amount of charisma and genuine likability to him. I liked him quite a bit as the son. Fred Gwynne again was great as Judd. We'll talk more about John Lithgow and the remake movie in general. John Lithgow, of course, is great. But I honestly prefer Fred here as Judd. Just his sort of southern drawl and his voice to it, and his presence, I thought actually held up a bit better. And it was probably because of the writing, or the way the movie is done is, I think, superior in the original. It's not a perfect movie. Like I said, there are moments where the acting is a bit skewed, a bit off. It doesn't quite click. But the effects are pretty good. It's all practical work and everything like that. I haven't seen the sequels yet. I don't really intend to, unless I have nothing left to watch. I may seek them out somehow. It's also a pretty tragic and dark ending. And then you have, of course, Gage. Of course, he comes back dead, and you get some sort of Chucky, dummy type work in certain parts. They didn't have Miko involved in any of the really violent scenes. If you read up on IMDb, they sort of shot around it, so you don't have to do anything too direct. But of course, a number of characters die fairly brutally, and then you have a pretty tragic end with Lewis and his wife. I do really like the original Pet Sematary. I'd give it like a 85%, maybe a solid B, somewhere in there. And now the 2019 remake, I thought it was alright, it was fine. It didn't feel fully necessary. It didn't really do much. Some people are saying there was a lot of exposition, probably, but honestly at the same time it felt more rushed somehow as well, which is odd. It felt like it kind of just bullet pointed a lot of stuff, and it didn't explore the psyche as much. Jason Clarke plays the husband in it. I've never really been too crazy about Jason Clarke. I think he's a capable actor, but he doesn't have the most charisma to him. So I definitely preferred Dale Midkiff in the original. I think the actress who played the wife in the new movie, excuse me while I try and get that up, which I already should have. Amy Smits or whatever. I thought she was pretty good. I think she outacted Jason Clarke for sure. And he had the daughter. They sort of, well, if you guys haven't seen the remake, stop now, I guess. But just know I think the original is superior. But now, if you have spoilers for the remake, they actually switch it so the little girl, the daughter, is the one that is actually tragically killed. And Jati Lawrence is her name as Ellie. You do feel it at first, but then when she comes back, it's, again, just her acting is pretty hit or miss, more so than anyone in the original, I think. So it doesn't quite work. Sometimes it's just kind of funny, sometimes it's just kind of cringy. I'm not sure. The effects are still fine, but even the deaths aren't quite as memorable, and the ending somehow felt a little bit more typical. I didn't feel as focused on the psyche of it all and just the human tragedy aspect of it that I liked in the first. So yeah, it's alright. It's a serviceable remake. Definitely not the worst, horror remake out there, but far from the best. And I've liked a number of remakes. A couple of them I've even preferred to the originals over the years. But yeah, this isn't one of them. And if I had to rate it, I don't know. I'm giving it like a C, maybe a 74, 77, somewhere in there. It's there. It's fine, but I'm gonna forget it. I almost have. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this. Which do you prefer, the '89 original or the 2019 one for some reason? And how are the direct sequels to the original film? Are they worth watching? Let me know. You guys can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.